How's it going, guys? My name is Alex.
Good evening.
And welcome to the manager guide video. I'll be talking about the best manager you can get, and it's not only about manager. Mostly in this video it's about the playstyle, which managers are kind of irrelevant this season. It's all about playstyle and all about the way you're playing this game, and I'll be talking about that, and of course covering how you can get your team to 100 overall playstyle, which is 100 chemistry, 100 familiarity, whatever. It is a brand new concept this season. It all depends on, of course, the familiarity of your players with that exact playstyle of your manager. So I bought Pep Guardiola, which is Luis A. Roman. I wouldn't recommend you buying just because I bought him. It's a good manager, good possession game playstyle. You can, of course, if you want to, you can change playstyle of a manager. If you want, you can change quick counter. He will be getting a lower attributes for that, and your team will be getting lower attributes overall. And it all depends, of course, on the playstyle level points that you have attributed to your players. So for instance, I trained Zinchenko, and now he has very good stats for possession game and for quick counter. He can play both formations, and it's quite useful if you can change the formation, if you can change the tactics mid-game. It gives you a lot of flexibility, and if you're bored playing with the same team, with the same approach, you can of course change it. And then based on this, there's a few managers that you can pick from. So you go to contract, and that's how you sign your first manager. By default you have one, but you don't really care about him, a random manager. Over here, a list of all managers. You can sign them for GPs. They are quite costly. I'll be signing Massimiliano Allegri because he is good at quick counter and possession game. Would you want to change between managers all the time? Probably not. So if your manager has 80, 75 between your two favorite playstyles, this manager just suits my needs, so I'm signing him over here for 110,000 GPs, and I'm actually changing him in my team. That's why I'm more flexible right now this way, and I'll be able to experiment with my team in the future. And of course, if you have some problems, like if you had your team geared for possession game, of course you can go to this manager, change his playstyle to possession game. You'll be getting most of your players suited for this gameplay, and your manager is giving you a very good boost. You might not be getting the team playstyle level to 90 to 100 like I had before with Pep, but 96 I feel like is okay, and all of your players are still keeping their stats, because you know that if you're playing with the correct playstyle, like let's see, we change it to quick counter. Some players like Karl-Heinz Rummenigge had 97 overall, Rashford had 92 overall. Their stats remain the same, so their stats are not changing, but stats are not really the main thing in this game this season. Yes, they are important, but what's really important is the way your players are reacting to your manager's playstyle. This is arguably my favorite manager, probably just because you can combine two playstyles, and if you're bored of one, you can try another one and experience completely different gameplay. At the same time, when you're training the players, it's important to know how you're reaching the team playstyle overall level 200. Let's change the manager who has like a very good stats in possession game. This is 100 overall rated team. How did I achieve that? Every single player who I had here before had like 50, 60, 70 team playstyle points, TPP. I'm attributing these experience points, I'm proceeding, and then I'm training team playstyle points, and I spend those, and I make sure that my player has a good compatibility with my manager, with the playstyle that my manager has. And of course, the plethora of playstyles, you can play this game differently. Remember last season we had the defensive line, we had the proximity of the players on the pitch when they're passing to each other, pressuring. There is literally no other difference between the managers other than their playstyle compatibility with your team and overall what playstyle they prefer. So I would be signing a Zeissler, which is Jurgen Klopp, for a quick counter. So he's the best manager in quick counter, and Pep is the best manager in possession. Which one you like? If you like combining both, a manager like Allegri will fit you, or you can go to a site like eFootball Hub, and they're offering you a selection of managers. And the good thing that you can't really see this on the right, I can check the slider and I put it to like 75, and they put the same slider at sorry, not long ball counter, just the quick counter. Yes, a quick counter to 72, and it narrows down the managers that if I really want to have a manager that combines two playstyles and can actually be adaptable to those. And I can see these are four managers: Hansi Flick, Pochettino, Allegri, and Luis Enrique. So these are the four managers that are kind of fitting my agenda over here. He quick counter 78, possession game 74. So this is not the best. So I would say Allegri is still good for that, and of course Luis Enrique is also good. So if you prefer possession game and you occasionally would like to play quick counter, then go for Luis Enrique. If you like more counter-attacking playstyle, you go for Allegri. If you don't like at all to like do any kind of tactical changes during the game, change formation during the game, because you know that like this season you don't really care if Allegri this week has like 4-3-1-2 formation or a completely different like with a formation of 5 defenders. What you really care about is the fact that your managers are flexible enough to play the playstyle he wants. If I want to, I can change the formation to any of these formations. Players will be having the same chemistry. It's important that they're playing in their respective positions. So, for instance, Messi in center midfielder is not obviously optimal. You play him in attacking midfielder. He still keeps his 99 overall. He gets good familiarity with counter, so he can play counter or he can play possession. This is basically possession. It's important to know that Konami themselves are stating that this Dream Team concept are basically like the same thing you have in FIFA Ultimate Team. Like you're feeling that your players start making runs, start performing better when they are having a better compatibility with the playstyle level. So they're saying that beware that if your team playstyle level is low, your players will not be able to fulfill their true potential. That's why you can just take all the players that you have and boost their stats, and for some reason they'll be missing easy chances, not making the runs, it will be scripted. So in order to avoid that, you need to go and to ensure that your team has, like they say, like look, as your team playstyle level reaches 50 and 70, and at 70 your team will be able to realize their potential. For starters, choose your preferred team playstyle and aim for a team playstyle level at 70 and above. When you manage to increase your team playstyle level above 70, you will notice that your players will be able to put in a show about their normal capabilities. So they're saying 70 is enough, but of course don't trust Konami and ensure that 90, 95 you're getting a good feedback from your players. They're like passing the ball where you want them to pass the ball to, and this is why many people are just trying this game. Their playstyle level is at 50 or not, and they can't perform a pass. The game is way too slow. They can't even do anything like score goals. They concede a lot. Their defense is all over the place. I'll be sharing some secret tips on how you can grind coins, grind GPs, grind these special training items. There are different ways to do that. You don't have to spend your eFootball points for that as well. And lots of other training guides are in this playlist. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you next one. Peace!